Okay, I'm live on YouTube and I'm just waiting for, Facebook too. Okay. Whoops. Just waiting for everyone to arrive. I haven't done a live in days. It feels weird. Just haven't had time. Hello, I'm just waiting. Just yabbering to myself, really. Just waiting for everyone to turn up. While we're waiting, I'd love to know where you're from. What part of the world are you in? I'm here in Vancouver, Canada. We had such a windy day today. It was unbelievable. Wearing big winter puffy jackets. Felt like I could have taken off like Superman. I literally had to stop at one point because my bag I was carrying was circling around the wind. It's like Chicago wind, it's just wicked. And when you get between high rises, it's like you could just take off like a rocket. Just about throws you up in the air. Anyway, I exaggerate a little bit. It was pretty windy. Okay, so where are you from? Australia. Hi, Kylie. Yeah, I raised my kids in Australia. It was kind of an adjustment coming back to Canada because they were 10 and 15 when we moved back to Canada. And I'd never had kids here. It's quite different in some ways. So yeah, I didn't know the system. I didn't understand the schools, Okay. Louisiana. Hi, Philana Webb. Hi, welcome. Northeast Ohio. USA, Northeast Ohio. Alabama, we love your videos. Thanks, Brittany. Had a few clients in Alabama. Love the accent, love a Southern accent. I start mimicking a Southern accent. Just love them. I don't know why, but I don't pick up any other accent, but Southern accents I, for some reason, do. Okay, so I'll introduce myself and we'll get going. My name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go on the link above, you can see my free behavior board, my courses, and you can look into coaching. So let's get going with your questions. And we're actually updating all the courses. We're working on them. And I had to do so many new videos. And it's agony listening to yourself talk. Then I have to look back at them. And, it's agony. Anyway. So glad I caught you today. My 6-year-old has been in so much trouble at school, but she's so good at home. I'm so confused. Yeah, well, oftentimes there's no competition at home either. So things kind of go their way. Things are the way they like them. Whereas at school, there's other kids, there's competition. Other kids might be getting ahead of them. There's all this injustice feeling at school. That's why they often act up at school, or that's why. So yeah, generally things go their way at home more, or could be the reason. That could be the reason. Could be other stuff too, but I would have to investigate that to figure it out if it's that confusing. But generally, yeah, they're used to it. Things kind of go their way. You kind of cater to them at home a little bit more. Yeah, and other kids come in and push them out of the way, and maybe it's that. I don't know. Could be that. Could be something else. I don't know. Often it's the other way around. They're good at school because teachers are more experienced with kids generally than parents are. So they're often, good at leading kids and kids respect them. So it's often the other way around. But it can be either way. I remember this kid. I've actually said the name before. I probably shouldn't have, but oh well, I have no filter. I won't say it this time though. I grew up with this kid, and she was the sweetest, tiniest little thing in front of all the adults, and she was pure evil when it was just the kids. We were all terrified of her. She was tiny and pretty, and in front of all the adults, she was giggly and sweet. And then she'd say to us, "If you don't do what I want, I'm going to kill you." She was awful. Funny how I think of multiple personalities. She evidently grew into, I heard later on, she was quite a bossy and difficult woman. So no kidding. That was funny. But my mother never believed me. Never. She always said, "Her? She's so sweet." And I said, "She scares me, Mommy." My mom never believed me. And then when she grew up, when she found out later, because she knew the parents, and she found out later, even the parents said, "Boy, she is scary." Yeah, they can have different personalities. Okay, Virginia. Hi, Laura, or Lara. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. My 5-year-old asked for a hug at the climax of her tantrum, or when she's coming down from it. Is it okay to give it to her? Nope, not at all. Because you're saying good tantrum, good tantrum. That's not a love hug. That's a validate me hug. Validate me. That's what that is. You can love them up at any other time, but never around a tantrum. You don't discuss a tantrum before, during, or after, and you don't console a tantrum during or right after. If she wants a hug after, so she's had the tantrum and then she wants the hug after, I would say, you're all right. Do you want to go read a book? So you are engaging with her now, but you're not going, oh, my angel, what a traumatic tantrum that was. Then you're showing pity, like as if she was in the right and you were, you see what I mean? You're sending the wrong message. It's not a love hug. It's a validate my tantrum, validate me. So yeah, I don't want to validate that at all. So yeah, you're all right. Let's go read a book. You're all right. Do you want to help me with the dishes? You know, like pat her on the back. You're okay. Like it's no big deal. Like it didn't bother you at all, even though it drove you nuts. Don't show the fear, right? My 2-year-old's refusing to sleep all of a sudden, playing with his poop, and of course, full-blown temper tantrum. Yeah. School says he's doing great, but he's unrecognizable at home. That's because he doesn't get away with stuff like that at school. Refusing to sleep all of a sudden, playing with his poop, and of course, I don't know why he's playing with his poop. Like, how does he get access to that? I don't quite understand that. I'd be on top of that. Like, when is he pooping behind your back? Yeah, I don't quite know how that's going on. Yeah, and the temper tantrums, you just ignore tantrums. Check out my boot camp course if you're interested. It goes all through the tantrums, the toddler one. See, I don't know why he's able to play with his poop. Okay. Okay. Hi, I'm from the Netherlands. I won't even try and pronounce your name. Sorry. I'm wondering what you mean when saying it can't be attitude related, what you put on the behavior board. Does arguing count? You can't put attitude. Does not listening count? No. You can only put actions, like put your dishes in the dishwasher. If you put attitude on there, it's never going to work. You can try. It's never going to work. Never. Not in a million years. You listen to me when I tell you something. Never going to work. But you can say, put your shoes in the cubby when you come home. Put your dirty clothes in the hamper. It's action. It's actions that you put on the board. Attitude is, their attitude is a reflection of your lack of leadership. So how can you got to be a leader, and then the attitude takes care of itself. You see what I'm saying? Their rudeness, their disrespect is a reflection of your lack of leadership. You got to become a leader before you can expect that attitude to change, right? You got to earn that. It's not them, it's you. So yeah, only put actions on the board. Yeah, I gave you some examples of things to put down. And make sure you're on that board too. Make sure you mess up so they get to punish you. My kids were never disciplined. It was extremely rare. They were easy kids. They were good. They just had good self-discipline. They just sort of chose the right path. I was the one in trouble all the time. I still am. It's my nature. So yeah, I was always saying, I'll do it. I promise. Mom, are you going to do it tonight? Remember you said you were going to make muffins or whatever? Sure, I promise. Get off my back. I promise. Sure enough, I'd forget. And I was in big trouble the next day. I don't see no muffins. I'd say, what do you want? I'd love to go to the water slide park today. So yeah, I was the one in trouble all the time. But yeah, I never copped any attitude because I was a leader. You know, like I never got attitude with kids I worked with either because I was a leader. You lead, attitude disappears. So work on yourself. I don't teach kidding. I teach parenting. And the height of your leadership is between the ages of 3 and 12. Under the age of 3, they're just nuts anyway. 13 and above, you got to adjust your parenting. You got to pass that leadership torch over to them for all the small stuff. You're just there for the big stuff. You're there for backup. You want them to be their own leaders. You want to allow them to make mistakes, just like you did, just like you do. It's okay that they make mistakes. There's nothing wrong with that. Just say, oh, that was stupid. Do you want to hear what I did when I was your age? And laugh it off. They're starting to learn. They're exercising their independence. They're going to make mistakes just like you did and just like you do. So yeah, you got to start letting go when they're teenagers. A lot of parents do. Teenagers are my favorite age, but I understand them. So I know how to relate to them. But yeah, a lot of parents just miss the boat with that. That's why they find teenagers so difficult. They're trying to parent the same way with a 7-year-old and then a 17-year-old. No, it's very different. Okay. Sorry, I'm just scrolling ahead to make sure you're still here when I answer. Okay. 'Cause 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 Okay, we don't know how it's happening either. We will think he's sleeping and then find him painting his wall. Okay, this is the poop player. There are clothes, and I can't talk about it too much because I don't know who sells them or anything. But I've had clients who I've recommended they do some searching online. There are clothes that do up at the back that are very difficult for toddlers to get into. So it's stuff that just, but I can't remember what it's called though. It has a specific name. I don't think it was even in America where these parents, I can't remember where they got this stuff, but it's basically, and then one client said they just put everything on backwards so the kid couldn't get out of it. But yeah, it's basically not straight jackets, but you're putting in the clothes that they can't get access to their poop. So yeah, you're not the first one who's a poop painter. Yeah, just work on your leadership. Isn't that the best news you can hear? That it's not your kids. Wouldn't you rather blame yourself than your kids? Right? Parents are very quick to blame their kids for bad behavior. When I was working with kids and they acted out with me, I always thought, what am I missing here? What am I doing wrong? I always took responsibility for their bad behavior. That's what a leader does. You don't blame them. Blame yourself. Say, I'm missing something here. I'm going to work on it. So, onesie. Yeah, but it was something, I can't remember what it was. I actually saw a picture of one of them. It was an outfit that the kid just couldn't get access to. I had a dress like that once. It had a zipper that I couldn't get out of. But that's another story. Okay. Wasn't expecting you tonight. Neither was I. You know why I'm doing this? And my daughter, well, okay, and I'm not in trouble because I did a whole bunch of videos. She's got a whole bunch of stuff that she wants me to do, and I keep putting it off. So I've already done like 20 of what she wanted me to do, but I've got like 24 more. I didn't want to do them, so that's why I'm here. She kind of runs all the planning in the business, and yeah, I'm always in trouble. Mom, did you get that done? No, not yet. I got a sore finger. Yeah. You don't need your finger for doing that. No, it's too sore. I've always got excuses. Yeah, I'm the trouble. I'm definitely trouble. I'm the crazy one in the family for sure. Oh, here we go. My daughter would paint her wall and we duct taped her diapers on. Worked great. Yeah, I'm not going to recommend that. I don't know how safe that is, but someone else said that's what they do. So I would probably give that a go. Yeah, I'm not recommending duct tape. I don't know how safe it is, but yeah, got to do what you got to do, right? Oh, I'm going to read out some stuff. Everyone's always asking me about discipline, but really that's not what I'm about at all. I am very much about connecting with children, and their love language is fun. You play with them in their world, not in your world, in their world. Find your inner silly, just goofy stuff. You know, they love arm farts and stuff like that. Like just find your inner silly. They love magic tricks, science experiments, a whole bunch of DIY stuff that you could do at home, like with some what's it called? Baking soda and vinegar, just, science experiment. Blow up balloons and they squeak and you talk, pretending. I did the talking balloon stuff a lot. I didn't inhale the stuff though. I always figured that's bad for your lungs, isn't it? But yeah, I was like, I was always had a talking balloon going in that. So yeah, find your inner silly. They're much more likely to listen to you when they're more engaged with you and they find you more relatable. That's why I always say enter their world. They're in charge of the fun. You play, like in other words, it's all in their world. But when you're disciplining them, you're still disciplining them in their world so they understand it. But you're sort of more in charge of discipline. But with the fun, let them lead the way. Okay. Most of my 5-year-old's consequences stem from anger, hitting, throwing, yelling. Advice for helping him manage anger better without blowing up. Well, I don't know what he's getting angry over, so I can't really respond to that. But okay, when you're a leader, children tend to calm down. They feel safe, they feel secure, they feel taken care of. So work on your leadership skills. That's the basis for all this stuff, because I've worked with hundreds of kids and teenagers, and I always managed to get respect. Now, was it them? I just got them all in a good day. I never worked with easy kids. Okay. These were kids who were considered challenges, right? So, but yeah, I always managed to get respect. It's me, it's you, it's not them. So if he's really angry, work on your leadership skills. It does tend to calm them down. Someone asked me a while ago, they said, how do we make the older sibling the leader for the younger ones? And I said, no, 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 no. You're the leader. Make the older siblings the hero. Like, wow, he's watching you. He looks up to you. They don't always get along with siblings, especially younger ones can bother the older ones. But if you set the older one up as a hero for the younger ones, then you're actually building up the older one, and the younger one will end up looking up to them. So set them up as the hero, not the leader. I thought that was an interesting question. No one had asked me that before. That was just a few weeks ago. It was on a live. Someone had asked me that. But yeah, you don't want older kids to be the leader. You're the leader, not the kids at all. Okay, when you say work on your leadership skills, what are the top 3 things or top things to work on? Good question. Number 1, be calm during the storms. When you're disciplining, it's all business. You're calm as anything. You talk slow and quiet. You say, look here, this is what we're going to do, whatever. So you talk very calmly. The second one is you be crazy during the rainbows. So crazy during the storm, or calm during the storms when you're disciplining. The rainbows are the happy times when you're playing. That's when you pull out your inner silly. Like you put stuff in your ears, like, just act silly, just be goofy with kids. They love stuff like that. So you can be crazy as anything when everything's happy. The third one is work on your listening skills, become a really good listener. And you don't problem solve your kids' problems away. You get them to do it. So you say to them, they come up to you, what should I do? I used to say to my kids, like my mother would say to me, I don't know, you're smart, you can figure it out. And then I would encourage them to start talking about it. And they always thought they were coming up with their own solutions. I was sort of there giving them some hints, but I always encourage them to problem solve their own stuff. So become a really good listener. You don't listen to gather information to lecture with, you listen to show empathy and compassion and understanding. Just a sec, I got a siren going by. So yeah, and this starts really by the age of about 5 is the listening is really kicks in. But the calm during the storms when you're disciplining and the crazy during the rainbows when you're playing and happy, those 2 apply at any age. Oh, okay. How long do we let them cry when it's a full-blown tantrum? An hour? I don't know. Yeah, I'm still just filing my nails. I'm just waiting. I'm right there though. Okay, they feel safe. I'm right there. I'm just filing my nails. They could go for quite some time. The longer you've interrupted the tantrum, the more often you've interrupted a tantrum, the longer they're going to be, because they're going to keep going to get you to interrupt, to get you to give in and give them attention. So yeah, I don't have an end to that. If they're only 16 months old, I think you said, though, I might do some indirect redirection. That is, if they're going for more than 20, 30 minutes. Seems like a long time, but to them, it's not emotionally traumatic for them. A tantrum is not it's not emotions. A tantrum is a loss of emotional control and not getting their own way. There's a big difference between the 2. It's not emotionally damaging them. They're just mad because they didn't get their own way. There's no way I would give in to that. Not in a million years. Okay. So yeah, indirect redirection. I might go over on the couch and start reading their favorite book out loud to myself, and they're welcome to join in. But if they're having a tantrum, I would stand up and I would stop. So, but yeah, they're welcome to join in nicely. Yeah, I just let them go. I think the longest tantrum I ever heard of was, I think, 4.5 or 5 hours. And this kid would have been 7 or 8 and had trained the parents very well. So I said, never give that any attention. It went on for hours. And it was the last tantrum that kid ever had. It was a nasty one, though. Sydney, Australia. Excellent. Okay, that's where my son was born. 3-year-old constantly says, no, go away, all the time when he's frustrated, upset, embarrassed. Do we go, oh, I just ignore it. Yeah. No, go away. I hate you. I hate you. And I'm just like I don't even hear it. Yeah. How do you get him to stop saying go away? You just ignore it. They tend to lean into what works and they lean away from what doesn't. And attention is working. That's them winning. So no attention is just not working. But be careful that when they're nice again, then you look at them and you talk to them. So you're showing them, you're not just showing them what not to do, you're showing them what to do. You're rewarding the good stuff with attention, but the bad stuff, you just ignore it. Snowy Prince George. Ooh, hi, Katie. Yuck. We haven't got snow yet. We often don't get snow in Vancouver. We do in a lot of suburbs, but not downtown all the time. But yeah, I hate snow. Ugh. It's fun to ski. I used to ski a lot. Indirect redirection for 16-month-old. Yeah, I just explained that. You just go off and read their favorite book out loud, or you can sort of play with their toys, but don't look at them. It's indirect redirection. So you're giving them something else to do, but you're not addressing them. They can come over and join in, though. Tornadoes tonight. Manda Panda, where are you? I'm here in Vancouver. We had some nasty wind today. Whoa, I thought I was going to take off. I was carrying a tote bag, and the wind, it was just spinning around like that, the tote bag. And my hair was straight up. Okay. Okay, actually, I'm going to get going. I'm moving over to Instagram now. Oh, by the way, thanks so much for your support here on Facebook. I hit 300,000, I think, about a week and a half ago. So yeah, it's mind-boggling. So thanks so much for that. And I really appreciate that. And then I'm moving over to TikTok now. And check out the link above. You can get my free behavior board, my courses. I have one for toddlers, one for older kids. And you can look into coaching. And my daughter and I are doing our podcast now. I think we're in week 6 now. It's going really well. It's just so much fun talking to her. She doesn't like being in front of the camera or anything. That's me. I love it. If I see a microphone, I'm just zeroed in on it. I don't know why. But anyway, I'm such a ham. It's not that I think I'm that great. It's just I just love talking. I don't know what's wrong with me. But anyway, so she's more shy, but we're best friends too. We have a lot of fun together. But yeah, I get to do it with her. It's just a blast. Anyway, I'm going over to Instagram now. Happy parenting. Sorry, YouTube. I'm just moving over here. 20 buttons to push. I should count how many there are. There we go. And one more. Okay, so YouTube. 4-year-old struggling with following directions at home and school. How do you narrow that behavior down to one thing? The behavior board is following directions at school. Oh no, it's way too broad. That's like be good. So you just say one direction. Maybe put your dirty clothes in the hamper. Could be one. Then they start to learn how to follow directions. So you just start with one at a time. The more specific, the better. So put your shoes in the cubby within 5 minutes of arriving home. Something like that. It should be a daily thing that they get into a routine and they get used to doing things that they need to do. Okay? So try that. Okay, welcome. Where am I? Instagram, welcome. My name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go, and a mother and a grandmother. If you go in the link above, you can get my free behavior board, my courses, and you can look into coaching. I was over at my son's house. I spent the night the other night, and they have a 9-month-old and my granddaughter. So it was 2:00 in the morning, and she wasn't taking a bottle. And so I'm up in the middle of the night, 2:00 in the morning. She's screaming in my ear, and I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm in the kitchen making some cereal for her or something. Anyway, my son comes and he goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I wish I knew." Like I'm not used to getting up in the middle of the night with a kid anymore, and they're screaming in your ear, just making this food. I think I was feeding her something. Just struck me as funny. Boy, you get out of that habit. I'm not used to functioning at 2:00 in the morning. You get out of that habit. It's been a long time since I've had to do that, but it just struck me as funny. Gold Coast, hello. We used to holiday, I think Tweed Heads, we were down there quite a bit. Yeah, I love the Gold Coast. We lived in Brisbane for many, many years. Okay, almost 4-year-old. I'm not too sure here, but that's why I want to ask it. I like it when I don't know what to say. Almost 4-year-old repeats everything he says, what he wants or wants to do. Even after I've answered him, he still just repeats himself, driving us nuts. So this is when you've said no. Am I correct? Why would he keep repeating it if he's already got it? I'm just going to make up the scenario. So you've said no to something and he keeps asking you. I would say, I'll tell you what, you keep at me and there'll be a consequence. Do you understand? I would just say it like that. And then if he keeps at you, then I would. and just wing it. Use the consequence that you've got on the board for something else, but you can use it with that. And you talk like this. You keep coming at me, and there'll be a consequence. I've already answered you. And let him decide. That's all. I would only say it once. Let him decide. You got to let them follow through with what they're going to do, even if it's naughty. Never try and prevent bad or rude behavior. That's up to them. You just let them know what's going to happen if they do it. Right? Never try and prevent bad behavior. Let them do it and then take care of business afterwards. That's really important. If you don't allow them to become self-disciplined, you're always going to be nagging and nothing's ever going to work. They're never going to respect you. Like, I would only say something once. So you got a 4-year-old who's constantly whining. They only do what works past the age of 4. So it must be working. She must be getting attention. I would say when you whine, and that's this, I want that. That's whining. I can't hear that. I'm not going to listen to that. I'm never going to answer you when you talk to me like that. But if you ask nicely, I will answer you. But the answer may still be no. So she may not even know she's whining because she's so used to doing it. Have a signal or something. Go like this. I don't know, just make up some signal, just go like this or whatever. I don't know, tap your nose, whatever you got to do to let her know when I do this, it means you're whining and I'm not going to talk to you. So you can try that. It's going to take a while. She's used to doing it. They only do what works. So it must work. There must be a payoff. It must annoy you. And she knows it. It's even when I've said yes or told him yes, we're going to the park. I would say you keep talking about it. I've already said we're going. You keep talking about it. We won't go to the park. And then say, up to you. What are you going to do? I want to go to the park. Okay, no park. Be fast with that. Do not let them have chances. Once you've said, if you say it again, we're not going. And then say, do you understand? Okay, what are you going to do? Let him do whatever he wants. Be prepared to go through the scene. Everyone's terrified of the scene. That is the lesson. Do you think the next time, let's say you don't go to the park. He really wanted to go. You don't go. You have a hell of a day with him. He's rotten all day because you didn't go to the park. Do you think he's going to do that the next time? Think about it. Short-term pain for long-term gain. You got to invest in this stuff. You got to earn respect. You got to work for it. There's no way I would let a kid treat me like that. No way. There's no way. They would learn very fast. When I say something, it's going to happen. The funny thing is, they're so much happier when they're nice. They're so much happier when they're polite and well-behaved because they're proud of themselves. Their self-esteem skyrockets. Children with a leader have high self-esteem. They're well-behaved. They treat you with respect because leaders respect them. So that's all I teach here is leadership. It's like having a mentor. Have you ever had a mentor, someone that you look up to? Would you ever be rude to that mentor? It'd be embarrassing, wouldn't it? It's like that. I teach that. That's leadership. You be a leader and they just treat you really well. Okay. Oh, you asked about ASD, autism spectrum disorder. I only discuss that in coaching. You'd have to look that up. That's sort of more in the special needs department, and I don't discuss that here. So I'm just scrolling ahead to make sure you're still here when I answer. We had daylight savings removed. I cannot wrap my head around time differences. I get really mixed up. So I knew we fell behind, but what time would it have been if we didn't? Like, God, I get so mixed up. So I guess it would be 7:30 and it's 6:30 right now. Yeah, boy, I get mixed up. Okay, how can I teach my 5-year-old to not be terrified from being locked in? He locked himself in the room once, and ever since he won't let us close the door for the bathroom or room. He's always paranoid. Now, is that true, or is he just using it as against you? I'm guessing that could be true. That's what I'd call that's in the fear department. Fears are difficult. It's like if you have a kid who's terrified of the dentist, and parents say, how can we get them to lay there with their mouth open? That's a fear. I can't really help you much with that. I remember once with my kids, what I did was I laid in the dental chair. They were on top of me and their head was right beside me. And I opened my mouth and then they opened theirs because they thought mom can do it. Although I do remember, I don't know why I can't help this. I've got this issue. I always have to tease. And I remember the dentist put something in my mouth and I went, ow. Didn't hurt, but I don't. And here I'm trying to get the kid to not be afraid of a dentist. Like, why would I do that? I can't help. I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway, this poor kid. So then they ended up laughing too, and then the dentist laughed, and it worked out okay. But yeah, why would I do that? I don't know. I got away with it, but anyway. Okay, this is a fear. So the kid's got a fear of being locked in the room. I would get in the room with him, shut the door, get out of the room, and then have it open. And I'd get in, shut the door again. So just there's this thing when you get a phobia or a fear, the only way around that is immersion therapy. That means you do it. It's like if you're afraid of flying, they don't simulate flying. They take you on a flight. The only way to get over something is to, what do they call it? Get over something is to do it. So yeah, you're just going to, but do it with him. So go in the room and shut the door. Say, see, we're okay. You can show him how to get out. You can even tape doors, like you can tape the lock for a while so that it doesn't actually lock. Yeah, you can I would even maybe take it out so that, okay, it's okay. You can go in there, look, I've taken the whole doorknob off, so you can't get locked in there. But yeah, I would, I have sympathy for that. Like that's not a behavioral thing. A fear is different. It's like a phobia or a fear or anything. Okay, I don't know what you were referring to, but I'll read it out because it's good for other people to hear this too. Love that advice. That's been the one thing working for us, truly following through. Oh yeah, right. When you say something like with the park, you mean, was it that one? Thanks for the recommendation, and consistent corrective behavior was a lifesaver. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. So I'm assuming the following through, when I said, if you keep bugging me about the park, I already said we're going. You say it one more time and we're not going. I want to go to the park. We're not going. That was your choice. I have no problem going through a scene. If a kid has a fit, I'm sorry. I said, well, that was your choice. We're not going. No way would I go to the park. No way. My kids wouldn't even have dreamt of asking me to go because they knew. Yeah. You got to follow through with the stuff because that was their choice. You already said we're not going to go. So they chose that. You got to let them be more in control of their lives. Let them choose what to do. Don't try and micromanage them. Let them choose what to do, and then you deal with it. Okay. 10-month-old baby tantrum, not much we can do about it. Yeah, no, there isn't. You use a lot of diversion with 10-month-olds. So if they're starting to have a tantrum, here's what I do. If they're having a tantrum and I'm holding them, I have them facing away from me when I carry them. So it's a 10-month-old. I'm thinking about the weight. My granddaughter's actually 10 months old, so I'm just thinking about her weight. So yeah, if they're having a tantrum, the reason why I have them facing away from me and I'm just holding them like that is that if they throw their head back or that, it's just hitting here. They're not, hurting their neck. I hate it when they throw their heads back. So yeah, they're throwing it back. And then I just walk around as if I don't even notice them. So you don't make a big deal out of it, but you're right there. You're holding them because you don't want them hurting themselves or anything. And then I might look at a book or something, and I'm not talking to them, but I'm maybe looking at a book, or I'm maybe getting some Tupperware and doing something like going like that. So you're diverting them, but you're not talking to them. You're holding them. They're having a tantrum and you're doing, ooh, what's this? Oh, wow. Whatever. So you're kind of diverting them. But yeah, not much you can do. That's what I used to do with kids. Yeah, 1.5-year-old hitting other kids at daycare. The staff pulled us aside and asked me, you know what you can do at home because you got to get it in the moment. Do they hit at home? I would try and replicate what's going on at school because usually there's no one grabbing stuff off them at home. That's why they don't do it at home usually. But you got to deal with it when they do it. You can't do much afterwards, not with that age. 1.5-year-old, nothing you can do when you're not with them. You have to be right there in the moment, and then you use consistent corrective actions. But yeah, they've asked you to work on it at home, but if it's not happening at home, how are you going to work on it at home? So yeah, I would try and replicate what's going on. When does it happen? When they take a toy away? Well, you don't even want to really do that. So yeah, it's kind of tricky. It's a tricky one. If they don't do it at home, what are you going to do? I don't know how to answer that. Oh, they hit at home. Oh, then you say no. And I have a whole course on that, by the way, the toddler boot camp. You say no. and then you take a toy away or remove yourself. You remove them from the fun or the fun from them. Okay, don't do timeout. When you remove them, you're with them. Just take them in the kitchen away from the fun or whatever. So every time they hit, you got to be fast though. At that age, you got to be very fast. They hit, you remove them from the fun or take a toy away. Fast. And then let them have the fit. The fit scenes, meltdowns, and tantrums are them processing, not getting their own way. That is their process. That's how they do it. If you interrupt that and try and avoid it, they're never going to learn. You got to let them. You can't regulate their emotions. I've heard people talk like that. How do you regulate their emotions? You do not regulate another human being's emotions. It's impossible. Yeah, it's impossible. I don't even understand that. That's all that mini therapy session garbage. Discussing all their feelings and all that. Yeah. There is no feelings around hitting. It's just, there's no feelings around that. Nothing. And words are not their language when they're toddlers. It's not their language. It's actions. So you use consistent corrective actions, but you've got to be consistent because they learn through repetition. Children only they don't remember all the good stuff you do. They just remember all the bad stuff. So if you mess up, they're going to remember that. So you got to be consistent. I remember my son was about 18. We were laughing at all the stupid things I've done as a mother. I've done a lot of them, kind of crazy. So we were just laughing, usually around cooking. I hate cooking. Anyway, so we're laughing. And then I said to him, well, what have I done well? And he went, what? They remember your mistakes. They just do. So anyway, he's very funny. What good stuff. Do I deal with a meltdown the same as a tantrum? I call it the same. Meltdowns, fits, scenes, and tantrums. To me, they're all the same. Yeah, you just ignore that. It's a loss of emotional control and not getting their own way. Someone said to me, a meltdown is not the same at all. Okay, fine, go watch someone else. I call them all the same. Meltdowns, fits, scenes, and tantrums. I just ignore them. Any tips with shyness? Yeah, I don't understand shyness because is it insecurity or is it a basic personality trait? I don't know. I've thought about this and I thought, is shyness something that you're born with? Like, is it nurture or nature? Neither of my kids are shy. They can talk to anyone, but they grew up in a very loud, non-shy household. So and so did I. And so, yeah, not one speck of shyness. So I don't know if it's nurture versus nature. That's why I don't quite know how to answer that because it's quite different. But I've wondered about that. I remember when I was a little kid, I avoided shy kids like the plague. I never wanted to be around them. The reason is I thought that if you're not talking, that you're just not friendly. Like, to me, shyness was being aloof and not friendly. Which makes sense. When you're a little kid, I didn't understand shyness because I never had any. So I didn't understand it. I thought, well, they're not very nice. They don't even talk. So I avoided them like the plague. And I remember my mom having a conversation with me saying, no, they're just shy. And I said, what does that mean? I had no concept of it. And she was I can still remember this. I was probably in grade 2. And isn't that weird? I didn't understand shyness. I thought, but how can you not just talk to anybody? How can you not say what you're thinking? I had no concept of that. None. But yeah, she tried to explain, well, once you get to know them. So yeah, I don't know. Is it nurture versus nature? What do you guys think? What do you think? I've never actually looked into that. Never thought about it. But anyway, when it comes to confidence, by the way, self-esteem and confidence are two different things. So get them out there, get them exposed to as much as possible. Just get them used to doing things. And I remember one time I had someone asked me as an adult, they said, how do you, because I've always kind of walked into a room like I own it. And I said, it's not that I think I'm better than anybody. It's just, I don't think anyone's better than me. We're all the same. Right. And I never try and put on airs or anything. So I never understood people who try and impress people. No one wants to be impressed. We just want to have fun. So when I walk into a room, and I remember my mom used to say, but shy people think everyone's looking at them. And I said, well, isn't that just having a big ego? Like, I never think anyone's looking. I think I'm going to go out there and try and make friends. So, but yeah, I never understood shyness. And I don't know if it's something you're born with. But yeah, I would push my kids out there. I'd say my daughter could have been on the shy side. I pushed her out there. I remember I pushed her into dance. And I said, And she didn't want to do it. She was 3. And she was not a crier at all, but she was just all sad and she didn't want to be dancing, but she did it because she was well behaved, right? And she kept looking over at me, hoping I'd save her because she didn't want to be in dance. But I knew I had to push her because she was such a mummy's girl. So, and this is what she would have seen when she looked over at me. Like no sympathy. You get out there, throw yourself into the world, kiddo, because it can be a rough place. You got to learn to get along. And she ended up loving it. So, but yeah. That was a whole spiel, but yeah, I've just thought about that today. It came up. I was looking into something earlier and shyness came up. So I might do some more research into that. I'll write it down so I don't forget. Shyness, nurture versus nature. Can baby talk from a 4-year-old be treated the same as whining? Absolutely, yeah. Now, all I want to do is end this live and go and look into shyness. I'm curious now. Why did I never look that up before? I don't get asked that a lot. I get asked a lot about children who are insecure or don't make friends easily, but I don't get asked about shyness a lot. It's interesting, isn't it? Another thing I don't get that doesn't come up very often at all, even in coaching, is bullying. That used to be huge. I've been doing this for forever, like 17 years now. Bullying was always taught every single day. It came up. Hardly ever comes up anymore. Why is that? And I know it's still happening. Why is bullying not talked about? Okay, I got to get going. I'm going to move over to TikTok now. And so you're welcome to join me over there. Check out the link above. You can see my free behavior board, my toddler courses, my toddler boot camp course, my 3 to 12-year-old boot camp course, and you can look into coaching. So happy parenting. Bye now. I'm still on YouTube, by the way. Discard video, discard. My God, there's a lot to do here.
Ladies, another
TikTok makes you, it starts up with an ad right now for some. TikTok didn't used to do that, but now it always starts with an ad. Okay, I'm just waiting for everyone to turn up. I was hit by a car just walking across the street 15 days ago. It was very traumatic. Anyway, I'm still going to physio. I'm walking fine now, but it still hurts a bit. But yeah, if you're walking in the dark and it's raining, even if on a crosswalk and you look and they can't always see you, and he shouldn't have, he sped around that corner. Anyway, I was very lucky. I was just thrown around the hood a bit. And, but yeah, I strongly recommend that you use those armbands that they light up. Mine aren't just reflectors. I bought ones that actually flash and they light. I look like an idiot. I look like a Christmas tree walking down the street now. I don't care. I don't plan on getting hit by a car anytime soon. I feel like I had I just feel so lucky. I feel so grateful. All I did was get tossed around the hood a bit. How lucky is that, eh? Okay. I was just making conversation, waiting for TikTok. Okay. Welcome to my live. If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. My name's Lisa. I'm a mom. I'm a parenting coach, and I'm also a grandmother. So if you want to look at the link above, you can see my free behavior board, my boot camp courses, one for toddlers, one for older kids, and you can look into coaching. So let's get going with your questions. I've got someone, I'm also on YouTube. I'm on YouTube the whole time. That's where all my lives are saved. And then I hop from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok. And they go in order of size. Like TikTok's my biggest platform, then Instagram, then Facebook. YouTube, we're not really we haven't put a lot into YouTube yet. It's not a social media platform though. So, but yeah, we'll get to work on that one day too. But it's going well. Shyness could possibly come from bad leadership, making the child insecure. Maybe. I'm going to look into it. Because a lot of kids who are very insecure aren't shy. So I don't necessarily, it doesn't always equate to insecurity or low self-esteem. That's what I find interesting about it. I've got a lot of views on it, but a lot of opinions on it, but I don't like to talk about something that I haven't done a lot of research on. Does that make sense? I'm pretty strict about that. If I'm saying something, I've had a lot of experience with it and I've researched it. But yeah, I haven't researched shyness a lot, so I'll look into it. And if I don't talk about it again, it's just because I'm not comfortable with what I came out with. Yeah, got knots in my hair. Sorry. Okay. Regarding the behavior board, what if they do something bad? How the heck are they going to follow something on the behavior board, 3-year-old? Because you're following it up, you got 2 consequences. You got to look at the behavior board. This is overrated sound on YouTube. Look at the behavior board. So if they do something bad, how are they going to do something good? They don't have to. There's another consequence coming up behind that. If they won't do the first consequence, you follow it up with the other one. There's always 2 consequences for the kids. The first one is a positive action. If they won't do that, then you use the negative deprivation, 24-hour media blackout or something like that. You take something away. So how to deal with kids being bullied, how to make them confident. Okay, once bullying's already established itself, it's harder to do. But I've never been bullied. My kids were never bullied because this is what I did. I'll tell you my story on how I figured this out. I was in grade 2. And I always had a mouth on me. Like I had a very confident personality and a very loud family. So I had a lot of confidence socially. And so it helped me. But I teach this to kids who aren't like that. And it works. And I taught this to my kids. They weren't as, well, my son was pretty loud. I was very loud though. Anyway, here's what I did. I was in grade 2 and I was in the hallway all by myself because I had to go to the bathroom in the middle of class. That had never happened before. I had never been in the hallway when it was empty. So it was kind of neat. But as I'm going back to class, coming out of the bathroom, I saw that the grade 5, I was in grade 2, he's in grade 5, the school bully was coming out of the principal's office, of course. And so he's walking down the hall towards me and he sees me and I'm all by myself, little grade 2er and a big grade 5. He was a big kid. He was mean. Anyway, so he's coming at me, he's looking right at me and I'm like, oh, I didn't know what to do. So, and I knew he was going to come up to me. And my last name at the time was Hanky. So he comes up right in my face and he goes, Hanky Panky. And I said to him, I prefer Snot Rag and Boogie Bundle. Oh, well, got to get back to class. He went like that and he never came near me again. So now this is what I teach. I teach kids to agree with the bully, make fun of themselves with the bully. So use humor and then give them an out. So I agreed with them. I used humor. And then I said, I got to get back to class. So when you're doing this with your kids, you teach them that you agree with the bully. Then like if they say, oh, you got a big nose. Well, the whole family does. We're really good at smelling things. So anyway, what have you got for lunch? You see, you're kind of belittling the whole, like it doesn't bother you, just water off a duck's back kind of thing. But the way that you get your kids to do this is you role play at home. Because if they've never said it, it's very hard to do when they're out faced with a bully, right? So you role play this at home and don't role play with the thing that they're being bullied about, because it still hurts. Okay, wear silly hats and then tease about that, something that's ridiculous. So, or put lipstick on your nose and say, oh, you got a red nose. You know what I'm saying? Don't role play with the actual thing they're being bullied about, because it still hurts. So role play back and forth. You be the bully, they be the bully, you be them, go back and forth, back and forth. If they've already practiced using this method on you, even though it's just like theater at home, and have fun with it. It's not supposed to be serious, it's supposed to have fun with it. And then it just comes out easier if they've already rehearsed it. It's like anything. You rehearse a play or a movie or whatever. I don't know, I've never been in one, but you know what I mean. So yeah, that's how you do bullying. You agree with the bully, use humor, and you have an out. Oh, what's your favorite game? You got to give them an out. If you don't give them an out, they're going to come back at you again. But if it's physical bullying, I never teach children to defend themselves physically. The reason is that not all bullies are cowards. Some of them are very practiced and very good fighters. And yeah, so that's why I always think an adult needs to intervene if it's physical bullying. Now, if it's ongoing long-term bullying, that's harder. They can start trying to use this, this method, but it is harder if it's already established. Still doable, I guess. I don't know, bullying. Oh, they're so nasty. And bullies, I was never bullied ever again. And even that bullying is ongoing. That kid was just mean to me once and he never came near me again. Neither did any other kids. And same with my kids. They were never bullied either. But you got to look like it doesn't bother you. That's the key. And I'm going to read out something that, oh, this was so cute. Oh, I can't tell the story because I didn't ask for permission. If I tell clients stories, I've asked for permission, or it's so general that, hundreds of clients have gone through it. So anyway, God, I wish I'd asked. Anyway, so sweet. Anyway, I teach people how to apologize effectively, right? Like, there's 4 steps to a good apology, and I suggest that you teach your kids. It's not how you discipline, it's not part of discipline, but it's just part of manners. So, like, you teach this to your kids: if they do something bad, or they forget something, or they let someone down, like a friend or something, teach them this method. So there's 4 steps to a good apology. The first one is say you're sorry. It's just empty words to me. I don't really care about that. The word sorry is so overused. Like I said, I was sorry. You don't even forgive me. Well, I'm still allowed to be upset. Anyway, the word sorry is like, you can do whatever you want. You just say, I'm sorry, and that's it. Anyway, it's overused. But start it off by saying sorry. The second step is take full accountability and responsibility for what you did. Don't say, I'm sorry I did that, but if you hadn't done that, then I wouldn't have done it. You see, that's blaming the other person. It's that passive aggressive stuff. So the first step, I'm sorry. The second step, it was all my fault. I shouldn't have done it. The third step is amends. Make amends. Say, what can I do to make it up to you? If they don't come up with something, you offer something. That's what you got to do. You got to make amends. What are you going to do to make it up to them? Why do people don't do that? Why is that? I just don't understand that. The fourth step is don't keep doing it. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, that apology meant nothing. So yeah, make amends. Say, sorry, I was late. How about I buy dessert tonight? Why on earth more people don't do that? Sorry, I was late. And then you're supposed to say, that's okay. I never say that. If someone's late and they say, sorry, I was late, and I just say, oh, well, like, where's the amends? Where's the amends? I just don't get that. Anyway, 4 steps. Sorry, it's all my fault. What can I do to make it up to you? And don't keep doing it. God, I wish I could tell you what that client said to me. It was so cute. I should have asked. Darn it. What's your opinion on early intervention for a speech-delayed 20-month-old boy? Are they speech-delayed? They're only 20 months old. Some kids don't talk till they're 3. I don't know if your child's speech-delayed. They may very well be. But yeah, I talk a lot. My kids talked a lot. I think just exercising it, just keep talking, having them read out. You read to them, then they read. They can't read, but you know what I mean. Fox and socks talk. You say it, fox and socks. So just have fun with it. Their love language is fun. They also learn through fun. So don't try and make it serious. Like, now we're going to say this. Now we're going to make it fun. Is it normal to have shorter patience with one kid over another? I'm more reactive to my daughter. Yeah, that's kind of a broad question, though. I don't quite know what you mean by that. So obviously, is one kid more difficult than the other? They're what I call the target kid, the one that's difficult. Well, a lack of patience is also usually based in anger and frustration, which you shouldn't show anyway. Leaders don't tend to show that. So do you understand where I'm going with that? I don't quite know. I would need to figure that one out. I don't know where you're coming from. I need more context around that. So yeah, it's usually lack of patience is usually or based in anger and frustration. So you don't want to show that. Yeah, I'm guessing. I don't feel like I really answered that, but. Three most important disciplinary advice. Oh, I don't know about 3 things. Just use consistent corrective actions. They're not about words, they're about actions. Words are useless with a little one. Yeah, all these mini therapy sessions discussing all their big feelings. I know people teach it. It's garbage, absolute crap. That's for you. That's not for your toddler. They're not about words and therapy sessions. They're about actions. Oh, you hit with that toy. That toy's getting put away. That's you put the toy away. Yeah, they're actions. They're not words. I remember seeing when this pleaser parent style first started coming out about 30, 40 years ago. It came out with participation awards. Stupidest thing in the world. Well, it's not the stupidest, but it's right up there. Dumbest thing. I went shopping the other day. No one gave me an award for turning up at the supermarket. It's such a talk about raising entitled snowflakes. How ridiculous is that? You don't have to earn anything. You just get an award for living. Do you believe in timeout? Oh, you must be new. I hate timeout. Can't stand it. I think it's mean, humiliating, and doesn't teach them anything. You go sit in the corner all by yourself and you think about what you did. They're just sitting there feeling like garbage. Yeah, it's awful. I can't stand it. Not that I'm opinionated. Anyway, my top 3 tips, my top 3 discipline methods that are common that I can't stand. Timeout's number 3. Number 2, which I hate even more, is the diversion. Because you never divert with broccoli. They're doing something naughty and you go, here's a lollipop. You reward bad behavior when you use diversion. And you can divert when they're, I don't want to get into all that. But when they're being bad, you never reward. You never divert, because you never divert with broccoli, do you? It's always a reward, always. And the worst one is the countdown. When they're doing something bad and you say, you better stop that by the time I count to 3, it's a fear-based parenting method, and you're condoning the bad behavior in the short term. Because this is what parents do. They go 1, 2, 2.5, 2 3/4, 2, 3, and then the kid stops. Where's the consequence? Where's the punishment for what they just did? There isn't any. It's such a fear-based parenting method, and you're teaching them it's okay to be rotten in the short term, just not in the long term. It's a mixed message. It's absolutely ridiculous. It says you're afraid of them because it's fear-based. You're just hoping they'll stop so you don't have to do anything, right? Now you can use countdown when you're leaving the park because they're not doing anything naughty. Say, oh, we're going to be leaving soon. By the time I get to 10, I want you here, or else there'll be a consequence. So it's up. You can use it when you want them to do something good, but you don't use it when you want them to stop doing something bad. It's different. That's what I was trying to get at. And with diversion too, I was trying to get at with a toddler and they're having a tantrum. You never divert, but you can do indirect redirection. So you just go off somewhere and start reading their favorite book out loud, and they can come and join you, but you're still not directly doing it. It's more indirect. So it's sort of like diversion, but it's never mind. Yeah, I don't like any of those. Timeout, diversion, and countdown. Don't like them. What do I do instead? I use consistent corrective actions. So when they do something I don't like, I say no, and then I take action. No anger. If you show anger, you're not a leader. Yeah, very calm. I'm very calm. I remember once my son, this kid was acting out, and it was a kid that had come over, and I was sort of babysitting, and he was acting out, and I heard my son whisper to him. He said to this kid, he says, if my mom whispers, run. That's when the discipline's happening. When mom whispers, run. Oh, that was funny. Yeah, I get real quiet. If I'm disciplining, I always go, oh, I'll tell you what, here's what we're going to do. So I get very quiet. Because if you look angry, you're not a leader. You look scared. Anger comes from fear. Did you know that? All anger is based in fear. So yeah, anger is fear. And kids pick up on that. You don't know what you're doing. If you get angry at them, you look like you don't know what you're doing. Well, what if you're not a leader? What if you aren't a leader by nature? I'm so glad you asked that, because in my personal life, I'm a follower, very much so. I'm a follower. So I'm only a leader with kids because they need that, right? My friends, people in my life, my personal life, they don't need a leader. They don't need me to lead them. But I'm very much, I'm very drawn to strong personalities and leaders because I don't want to do it. I'm too lazy. I hate doing it. Tell me where we're going, what time to be there, what to wear, what to eat. I don't want to be in charge at all. But I'm not a pushover. I'm a very, very strong personality, and I'm a follower, if that makes any sense. I'm very impressionable. Oh, I hate doing that, but you'd love it. Okay, I'll try it. Like I have no stubbornness in me. Oh, I hate that. Oh, haven't you tried it? No, okay, I'll try it. Like I'll follow, and I have to like someone. I'm not a follower with people I don't like or anything. That's people I'm close to. I'm very much a follower. So does that help you out? If you're not a leader in your personal life, it has nothing to do with this. I'm very much a leader with kids and teenagers, very much, but not with adults. I'm a follower. Does that make sense? But I'm not a pushover. I have a very strong personality. I just don't want to make decisions. Okay. How to deal with selective mutism. Now, I don't know if you're just overusing that term or if your child actually has it. It is a medical diagnosis. I've actually worked with kids who have selective mutism. They literally, I've worked with kids who do not speak at all at school, at all. They can't. They cannot speak in front of other people. They can only speak in front of their parents or their immediate family. It's quite interesting. I'm not a psychologist or anything, but yeah, I've had to work with that. So yeah, I don't quite know what you mean by that. You'd have to be more specific. So actually, I didn't know much about that, and I haven't worked with a lot of kids with that. And I remember the one that stands out was incapable of speaking in public or anywhere but at home with immediate family. It's quite interesting. I've worked with a few, but I remember the first one was quite a shock for me. I didn't know it was a medical diagnosis until then. That was a long time ago, but I didn't know it's truly a medical diagnosis. But it's a psychological diagnosis. Like, it's not a physical, they can't do it. You know what I mean? What do you do when they tell you no or refuse to do something? Check out the behavior board, one of my courses. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, there's a million different things that they're saying no to. So you have to be very specific. And the age too. I don't know the age. But check out the link above. You can see my free behavior board, or you can look into my bootcamp courses. It goes free behavior board, bootcamp courses, coaching. That's the different levels. But most of what I have is all free. But yeah, the courses or the bootcamp or the coaching with me. If you want more in-depth stuff. Oops. I'm just going to read some stuff that I've made. I keep forgetting. I keep answering questions, but really discipline is not what I teach. I teach connections, how to connect with a kid. And, I just want to point out some things that just come up in, philosophy about parenting, leadership, and all this stuff. But I remember when I was raising my kids, I remember like my son was labeled as gifted. And I always told him, never be proud of that. That's ridiculous. That's a gift you were given. So you can't be proud of that. Only be proud of what you've earned. You haven't earned that. If you're really good looking or really smart or whatever, you can't be proud of those things. Just be grateful. Be grateful for your gifts, but be proud of your actions. So that's why they never, you know what I mean? Like, they never had that sort of attitude, like, if they're really cute or really, I always taught them, only be proud of how you treat people and what you do, what you've earned. So I think that's really important. Too many parents make a big deal about, kids who are smart or pretty and all these, beauty contest stuff and all that. I would never put emphasis on that. My daughter was offered some pretty big stuff for, the way she looked, and I turned it all down. And that's not where I want her energy to go at all. But yeah, so teach your children to be grateful for their gifts, but be proud of how they treat people and what they do, what they earn. And leadership is not about making them feel good about you. That will happen. But your goal as a leader is to make them feel good about themselves. Now, if you're the source of that, if you are the source of their high self-esteem, how are they going to treat you? Have you ever been around someone as an adult too, like, that makes you feel good about yourself? How do you treat that person? Think about it. That's what leaders, I'm very, God, I'm so pathetic. I'm very competitive with only one thing. I'm not a competitive person by nature, but I'm very competitive with fitness. Stupidly so. My daughter's always teasing me about it. I won't go into it, but I make a fool out of myself sometimes, because I'm very competitive with fitness. And if anyone compliments my fitness, I'm like, oh, thank you. But if anyone said, oh, you look really good for your age, or something, like, I don't care. But if someone says, oh, you look really fit, I'm like, oh. So how do you think I'm going to treat that person? I'll follow them anywhere, right? So that's my thing. So think about it. If you make someone feel good about themselves in a way that matters to them, because I know what matters to kids. I can figure out pretty quick what makes them feel proud. That's what I zero in on. I'm going to zero in on that and make them feel great about themselves. And then how are they going to treat me? Pretty darn good. That was always my goal, is to make them feel good about themselves. When I worked with teenagers and they were, challenging initially. And one of them said to me, he says, I didn't even like myself until I met you. I would say that's one of the nicest things anyone ever said to me. I didn't like myself until I met you. That is my goal with everything I teach. Leadership is about bringing out the best in your children. You don't want obedient little soldiers. You want kids who feel great about themselves. And then they do good. When you feel good, you do good. Whenever someone's mean or anything, like even online, I always kind of pity them. It must feel awful to be mean. They're just exposing their misery. And that's why it never bothers me. I feel sorry for them. And that's why when people feel good about themselves, they put out good energy, right? And that's what your kids are going to do for you. If you make them feel good about themselves, what are they going to be like? Think about it. That's why I don't just want to answer questions about discipline, because that's not what I teach. I teach leadership. I teach connection, how to make kids feel good about themselves. Okay. I'm going to finish up with one of my favorite stories. God, I forgot about this one. I'm going to tell this story. Or should I? No, I better check with him first. It's a story about my son. I've forgotten. I just wrote this down the other day. I completely forgotten about this story. And shoot, I'm going to have to ask him first if I can tell it. Okay, no, I won't tell that story. It was a good one. Okay, I think I'm just gonna get going now, because I've got a whole bunch of stuff I've got to do. And before I get to bed, and thanks so much for joining me. Check out the link above. You can see my free behavior board or my courses, or look into coaching. And I'm here tomorrow and Tuesdays and Thursdays are my regularly scheduled lives. Unfortunately, I don't do them every day anymore. I used to be on here every single day for about 2 years. I don't have time anymore, but those 2 Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm always here doing it live. So happy parenting. Take care. Bye now.